And now, more Utalk. Now,
our guest on the show, who we are talking with, Lindsay Rienstra, who is a model. She is also a small business owner. She's an entrepreneur, and she's going to school to become a speech pathologist. And she's joining us right now. Lindsay, great to have you.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Oh, we are too. This is so cool you could join us. I know you're super busy, so thank you for taking time. Okay, now, before we jump into more about who you are, because everybody's going to want to know. I mean, once you start telling the story, there's so many cool things you're doing. But I've got one, totally random question. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
If you were a salad, what kind of salad would you be and why?
Oh, gosh. I've never been asked that question, but I love it. If I were a salad, I would probably be like a really bright and colorful salad with like strawberries and oranges and like bell peppers or something, because I love bright colors and I feel like that represents my like positive and like cheery personality.
I was going to say that is that part of your personality. So, and we're going to get into something else about you with bright colors a little bit later in the show. So I see the connection there.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's that. So you've never thought about being a salad before?
I haven't, but it's a good question.
We like to do some off the wall random stuff. Okay, you're a signed model with Elite Model Management. What kind of modeling do you do?
Yeah, so right now I'm mainly doing print modeling, and then I'm also have done some runway stuff. So like the latest thing I have out right now is I shot the Dick's Sporting Goods spring campaign.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's out right now, like in stores, which is really cool because I've gone with like some of my friends and like my pictures in there.
Okay, I got to ask you this. Okay, you're with your friends, you're in a Dick's Sporting Goods. There's your picture. Now, do you just go stand next to it and see if anybody else in the store goes?
Yeah, the first time I saw it, I FaceTimed my mom and I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, this is crazy.
Oh, that is so fun. The reason I asked that, I've done that before. Like I used to co-host another show, and we were doing this big event in Colorado Springs, and there was this ginormous picture of me on the wall, and then my co-host had another picture there, and I'm just standing by the picture and just see if anybody makes the connection, It's like...
Yeah, most people don't notice, but...
No, they really don't. It's funny, and I did have a situation. I've done a little bit of acting, extra work. That's probably more accurate, but some people say it's acting. And we went to a screening of the film, and this guy's sitting next to me, and he's looking at the screen, he's looking at me, he's going, that's you. And I said, mm-hmm. And then a few minutes later, that's you again. I said, mm-hmm. But you're here, and I'm going, dude, I'm in the film, okay? I could be human here, and I'm on the screen. So, okay, what's a runway? Explain the difference between print and runway for those of us who are not real adept on the modeling world.
Yeah, so print is basically anything you see like in campaigns or like on social media or even on the website.
Oh, really?
And then runway is where they have different fashion weeks. So the last one I did was LA Fashion Week.
Yeah.
So they have like a bunch of different designers come to the venue. It's usually like 3 or 4 days, and they just have a bunch of shows in a row every night for like a few hours.
Very cool.
And
the Utalk crew went to something. This was I think right before COVID. I think we went to one night or one event that was connected to that. So, were you there every night, or was it just one day, or?
Yeah, I got booked every night, and it's a very long night. My call time is usually like 3-ish, and then sometimes I don't walk until 1 a.m.
Oh, that's a long day.
Yeah, it's very long. It's a lot of just kind of like waiting, and you get there and you do hair and makeup, and then you try on your outfit, and then you kind of wait, and then you have to do like the rehearsal, and it's like a very long night, but it's super fun, and you get to meet so many like cool people.
Nice.
And my mom always goes to watch me, and I feel bad for her. She has to wait around for hours, but it's really fun.
That's got to be fun for her, though, as your mom, to see what you're doing and what you're involved with, interacting with cool people. And it's got to be amazing for you. But I'm glad you pointed out the hours, because a lot of people don't have any clue what's involved. They don't know that there's a call time. You got to do makeup, you got to do wardrobe or whatever. And they're long days. And again, just from the handful of films I've been able to be in, they're long. It's fun, but it's a whole lot of sitting around waiting. And that's the nice thing about with doing music. For me, you have to wait after you set up, you do sound check or whatever, then you start playing and you're going. You're not just sitting around waiting. But is there anything that you do when you're waiting, or you're just waiting?
I just kind of wait. I should bring like my knitting or something, so I'm like productive. But
okay.
You have to be like ready to like go whenever you're called. So you kind of just like wait around, like trying to be ready. But you get to like meet so many new people, and there's always something to do.
Yeah. And I think that's a great idea, being productive. I've got a buddy who's an author. He's written a lot of books, and his whole thing is always carry a book with you. And it's not a big book. It's not a hardback, if I remember correctly with him, but it's one you can stick in your pocket, or, I suppose you can put it in your backpack, whatever. But you're standing in line at the grocery store, wherever you're standing in line, he pulls a book out and he reads, so it's making good use of the time.
Yeah, definitely. I'll have to try that next time, because I have Miami Swim Week coming up.
Oh, nice.
It's basically like another fashion week, but it's all swimwear. So I did that last year, which was super fun. It was my first time in Miami, and I signed with Elite Model Management out there.
Okay.
And so it was super fun. My whole family went out on that trip, and we were there for like 2 weeks.
Nice.
When you're out there, you fly out there not really knowing if you booked a show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you kind of take a big chance.
Woo.
And so we flew there, and then you go to a bunch of castings for a few days, and you wait for, I would wait for like 4 hours for a cast. And then once you get in there, you just do your walk, like your runway walk for 10 seconds, and then you hope they liked you.
All that time and energy and effort for 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's how it is.
But I take it they liked you.
Yes, I did get booked all 4 days, and it was super fun. I loved it. It's crazy out there. It's very crazy.
Great place to go, depending upon the time of the year. Lots of fun stuff to do. Now, you will go back and do that again then here soon?
Yeah, hopefully this summer.
Okay.
So we'll see. Yeah, I loved Miami. It's very, very hot. And humid.
It is. But a lot of great food places.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of what I gravitate to, and there's music too. There's some cool music out there. Very cool music. So will this be another family vacay for you guys?
Yes. My mom always goes with me everywhere.
That's cool for her. Yeah, and that's cool for you. Yeah. Because it's nice to have somebody, if you're not traveling, I tend to travel. When I travel, I'm usually going someplace with a team member, or I'm meeting people there. But it can get lonely on the road, and it's nice to have somebody there who's looking out for you, and you can unwind with. You can just you're not on the runway, you're not on the camera, you're just you. Now, is there a tough part of modeling? I was thinking about this as I was thinking about the show today, and I thought, I wonder if, because it looks so glamorous, you see the runways on TV, you see it in film, you see it, in a lot of different ways. I've been able to go to a few similar type of things and done a lot of red carpet stuff, where we've interviewed people and things like that. Is there a tough part? I would say there's a few tough parts. There's definitely, you get a lot of rejection and a lot of no's. So you have to have very thick skin, because everything is solely based off of your appearance and your looks and so clients don't really get to know you, like your personality. They just kind of see a picture and they're like yes or no. Ooh, wow.
So a lot of girls, I guess, kind of struggle with like self-image, like, oh, I need to look like this, I need to be skinnier, I need to do this with my hair.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're modeling, you just kind of have to, like, the mindset I have is like, take it or leave it. Like, this is how I am. Like, you can't really change yourself for every client because everyone's looking for something different.
Yeah.
And the right clients will, you know, like you and like what you bring to the table, I guess.
You know, I'm encouraged, I guess I'll use that word, that you have that kind of attitude, because entertainment, show business, you know, modeling, it can be brutal. I mean, it can be absolutely brutal. I know as a musician, I've always got, you know, guys lying behind me that want to take the position that I have, you know, and I would think the same is true in modeling. And, you know, like you said, they don't even get to know you as a person and your personality and your likes and dislikes and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So how did you develop that kind of attitude?
I don't know. I've just kind of always been like that. And also, like, I'm a Christian. And so I always just kind of pray, like, God, if this is something you want me to do, if this is a door you want me to walk through, then he'll open it. And if not, then that wasn't in his will. And, you know, you just kind of move on.
So it's your faith. It's your faith.
Yeah.
God that gives you that strength and that attitude. And it's not that you don't care, but you've learned, you know, in a short amount of time that you can handle this, okay? And I mean, because it's rejection in a lot of ways, and it can be brutal, but that's it. I think it's, I'll use the word healthy. How's that? You know, it seems like it's a very healthy attitude that you've developed.
Yeah. And my mom is super great too. She's very supportive of everything and always encourages me. And yeah, I'm super thankful to have her too.
That's awesome. I'll tell you, to have parents that support you and encourage you. And I was blessed with a mom and dad and even grandparents who would, when I started playing gigs early on, you know, music gigs, they would go to everything, you know, you want to have that. You want to have that encouragement.
Yeah.
You want to have that,
a good
you know,
support system.
Yeah. I mean, we all need that. We definitely all need that. So I'm glad to hear that. Where do you see yourself going in modeling? Is this something you want to continue to do?
Yeah, so I really want to pursue it now while I can. I just graduated high school last year.
Okay.
So when I was in high school, I was kind of, you know, busy attending school every day. But now that I'm out of high school and I'm doing online school, my schedule's a lot more flexible. So I'm able to like pursue it a lot more. And I have more flexibility to like work and go to castings or auditions. And I'm at the like age now, I'm 19, where modeling is like, it's perfect for my age. Like I would say 19 to like mid 20s is like prime time. So I'm just like pursuing it now while I can.
Sure.
I think it's an opportunity, and so why not?
I mean, go to cool places, meet cool people, do cool things, be able to walk into a store and see yourself, you know, your picture there or whatever. No, I think that's awesome. But that's prime time, but you could conceivably continue to do more as opportunities came and all.
Yeah, for sure. And I love it. Like I really enjoy it. I love everything about it. And
that's cool.
It just
feels
like the right job. Like it doesn't stress me out at all.
Oh.
Like I really enjoy it.
That is a huge plus. I mean, let's face it, because some jobs do stress us out, some situations stress us out. But if it doesn't stress you out, I mean, that's awesome. That is very, very cool. And what is the most unusual or the most unique, the most fun modeling experience you've ever had? Or is there more than one? Probably.
I mean, probably my favorite was shooting the Dick's Sporting Goods spring campaign.
Really?
It was like a few days, and we shot around like Venice and Hollywood. And Dick's Sporting Goods is like a huge company, so they had tons of trailers and vans to like take it everywhere. And it was just like really cool. Like everyone on set was awesome.
Nice.
They had very food on set as well.
Oh, that's always nice too.
No, the catering was great. Out to them.
That's one of the benefits of being a model. So that, what an awesome experience. And you seem to have a good handle on who you are and what you're about. Because you haven't let it, I mean, I don't know you very well. We've only talked on the phone a couple times, and now I haven't even met you face to face till now. But you seem like you're just normal person, and and it's kind of fun because your family does so much back you up. I don't know if I should say this or not, but I ended up meeting your grandfather. And we were with a group of guys having lunch, and he goes, "You want to see my granddaughter?" He pulls out his phone. He goes, "She's really." And I said, "Well, tell me about her. Well, you should have her on your show. But I thought this is so cool because here's your grandfather going, "Yeah, he's in your corner," and he was so excited when I got back to him and said, "Hey, guess what? Lindsay's good." "Oh, that's wonderful," and all that. So I mean, I think that shows the normalcy, I guess, because that isn't true with all models.
Yeah, no, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky. I love my grandparents. They're so supportive and amazing. I'm so blessed. But yeah, no, that's not always normal, and it's very easy to get kind of carried away and lost in the industry, modeling world, whatever you want to call it. So it's so important to really know your beliefs, your values, your morals, and really stick to those as you create that.
It's that sense of grounding and solid foundation. Now, have you hear things in, different reports and news or whatever you want to say, and you hear talk about models who are, struggling with eating disorders and things like that. Have you run across others who have been struggling like that?
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of girls who kind of struggle with eating disorders and food. And I mean, I know a lot of agencies now are kind of opening up into plus size and diversity in regards to sizing and everything. Yeah. But still, I mean, some clients still want you to be stick thin. And so it kind of gets them and makes them think oh, I need to be skinnier. I need to be this. This looks better. And I don't know. It's sad to see.
Yeah.
But
no, it really is, because you look at I mean, and we could spend a whole show talking just about celebrities who have gone too far and lost their lives and because of trying to fit in for the industry, and whether it's modeling or acting or whatever, music even, I'm really glad to hear that you're so well grounded and can handle that and say, what, here I am. I want to be in good shape. I want to, but I am not going to become, a stick figure walking around. That's not what I want. That's not what I think is healthy. So, I mean, props to you for doing that. I mean, that is really cool. And I think people will respect that. There'll always be those others over here barking, but I think people will respect you for your values and your standards and your character, because that says it all, because that's inside, but it certainly shows on your outside, having those kinds of values and all. I mean, that is, I'm encouraged. That's really, I love hearing more about you and what you're doing, because it's that's what Utalk is all about, is having an opportunity for teens and young adults to be able to come and meet people like you, and Utalk's all about you talking to us and all that kind of stuff. So, and to be a good example, I think is powerful. And I would imagine you've had a chance, I'm guessing, to be able to have some convo maybe with somebody who is struggling and try to encourage them that's in the business?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very into eating healthy and working out and living a healthy lifestyle. And so that's something that's very important to me and that I enjoy personally. Good. It's important to encourage that for everyone, because some girls don't have a good support system or other people who are encouraging them to build healthy habits. And so,
well, if they can see you as a friend, as an encourager, as an example, it's just, I mean, and you're just so normal, if I can use that word, in a positive way. This is who I am. This is what I do. And I do exercise. I do try to eat right. I have values. I have faith. I have a support system. And you are blessed because, unfortunately, a lot of young adults today don't have that. And they're not modeling necessarily. They just flat out don't have that in life, which is really sad. It's that bothers me. And that's why we want to be here as a remote support system in one sense, or, saying, and we say it every week, hey, reach out to us, at Utalk, and we're here for you. And if we can encourage you, if we can help you, we want to do that. So, and we do that in part by having friends like you come on and be able to share. Now, you started a small business called Sprinkled Fibers. I love that name. That is so cool. And going online, tell us about it. You tell us about it before I steal it away.
Okay, yeah. So I started my small business, Sprinkled Fibers, and it's basically where I hand dye yarn and then I sell it to people for knitting projects, crocheting projects, whatever they want to do with it. It kind of started to go all the way back.
Please, that's what I'm sitting here thinking. Okay, you didn't just randomly wake up one morning and go, oh, hey, I think I'll start a yarn dyeing business. So no, go all the way back.
Yeah. So my mom, she used to own a knitting store for 6 years. She opened it just for fun. That's not her main job, but she really loved knitting. And so she opened a yarn store when I was very young, maybe second grade, third grade. And so that was my first job, was teaching kids how to knit. So I did that for a few years, in middle school maybe.
Okay, sure.
And eventually I've always loved bright colors, like I've said.
Yeah.
And so not a lot of yarn companies that dye really bright, just fun unicorn colors.
Yeah.
And so when I was younger, I think I was in 8th grade, I started dyeing yarn, and then I would sell it at her store. And it was very just small. I would sell it to our customers and stuff. And then eventually we ended up closing the store. And so I started my Instagram account, and I just started selling it off of there, solely off my Instagram. I don't have a website or anything. And yeah, it took off, and I sell to people all over the world. It's crazy. Africa, Asia, I don't know, everywhere.
And all just because they see it on Instagram.
Yeah. It's
so
crazy. Instagram,
cool.
So many, cool people. All
right, now, I am not a knitting person. I'll just admit that right up here. I admire people that knit and, everything else. But I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so what color is yarn when you start? Do you have to go a special place and say, I want, neutral yarn? I don't know. Do you have to order it that way, I assume?
Yeah, so I order the yarn base, and it's totally just white, plain white yarn. I get it from Peru, and then I dye it all myself. So you dip it, you add whatever colors you want. The reason my company is called Sprinkled Fibers is because a lot of my yarn has little speckles in it. And so that's kind of where the name came from.
Okay.
Sprinkled Fibers. And yeah, it's super awesome to get to be creative and pick out different color combos and kind of experiment. And
is there a special kind of dye that you have to use? I'm assuming that so that it takes to yarn.
Yeah, I think it's an acid dye is what it's called. And it's toxic, so I have to wear a mask when I dye, and we always dye outside because you don't want to ingest that or consume it in any way. But yeah, it's a whole process, but it's super fun. And my sister, my whole family helps me out with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
But you're the boss, right?
Yes. I try not to be too bossy though.
yeah, that's true, because you don't want the employees, the help to bail on you. So now, how long does it, do you use buckets or special containers that you have the dye in, and then you dip the the yarn in it?
Yeah. So I have like different buckets with the different dye.
Okay.
I have like my little sprinkles like in another section. And oh, my mom's bringing in some yarn. So this is what the yarn looks like.
Oh, wow.
It's just like plain white, and it's in this like loop.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Almost looks like log spaghetti.
Yeah. And then you just kind of dip that and do your thing to it. And then these are like some of the colors like I've done.
Oh, that's amazing. Definitely bright. I mean, super bright. Now, before we keep talking, I think you need to let people know where they can find you on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. So the account I'm live on right now, Sprinkled Fibers, that's where I sell all my yarn.
Okay.
And I have shop updates like every few weeks where I like post the pictures of what I'm selling, the product, and then people just kind of DM me and say like, oh, I want this, I want that. And that's how I sell it.
Oh, that's cool. Do you do custom orders? Like, could somebody contact you and say, hey, I want something that looks this, and this colors? Or
I used to. I don't really anymore, just because I can't keep up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, the whole thing sounds pretty time consuming to me, and it's nice that you've got, your family helping you with it, but you're modeling, you're going to school, and you've got other activities going on. So that would be a lot. So basically people go on to your Insta account, and then they find, and we'll make sure we put this in the notes of the show so people can order from you, because I've gone to, again, I'm not a knitting person necessarily, but I can appreciate, the quality of what you're doing and the colors. I mean, that just fascinates me. It's amazing what you can do.
Thank you. Yeah. And we do a lot of kits. So instead of just selling like a random color, we put together like color combos and kits that make a certain project, whether that's like a shawl or a sweater or whatever.
That's cool.
So it's there for customers to kind of go like, oh, I like this color combo. Like I can just buy the whole kit and make the. I think it's easier for people to see like what they can make and the options they have. And
no, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And to have those kits together, and I suppose too, they can also go individually and say, hey, I want this, and this.
For sure. And I mean, that's what my mom and we both like love knitting. And so we knit a lot of the samples.
Okay.
Those samples we use for like kits and stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we'll like sell the colors to make this kit, and then people can just buy it and then make it themselves. Super easy. They don't have to try to like coordinate the colors and stuff.
Like you said, it makes it super easy. Now, the other question, I guess, is do you give them a pattern to follow then on how to make like the shawl or whatever it is they're going to make?
Yeah. So there's patterns, like, I mean, thousands of patterns out there for people to choose from and follow. And like this shawl was a specific pattern.
Okay.
And so I don't personally design any like knitted things, but there's so many knitting designers out there that come out with new like projects to make. Yeah. And so we kind of have to like follow the trend a little bit and see like what's popular, and then we'll make a kit for that.
And do you include the pattern then with the kit?
Usually, sometimes. The knitting designers, they sell their patterns like individually, usually online. So. And
then somebody could buy that and then buy your kit to do that with, kind of. That's amazing. That really is. I mean, it's helpful, it's productive, and I mean, it's so cool that you're selling all over the world.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And I just do everything like from at home, and I get to like send out my yarn to so many cool people and cool places. Yeah. It's very, very interesting.
It's interesting. What strikes me is influencer, because that's such a big word today. Well, she's an influencer, he's an influencer, whatever. But you are an influencer in a whole different way. When you've got your product all over the world. Do people ever send you pictures of, hey, here's the project I completed, I got from you, wanted you to see it, that kind of thing?
Yeah, all the time. I have customers who send me like pictures of what they've made, and it's always so cool to see. Like everyone uses it differently, so. It's very interesting to see the different things people make and the ideas they have and stuff.
Now, does that give you ideas too for something else to put together?
Oh yeah, for sure. We do like a lot of trades too, where like I'll send you yarn if you send me this or whatever. Okay. I don't know, it's fun. You make like crafting friends over Instagram.
Now, do they have a yarn con? You know, we got Comic Con, we got all this Cat Con and all this kind of stuff. Do they have a yarn con that you go to?
They have some yarn events.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't attended any and like sold my yarn. But, I mean, my mom, she loves going to those things, and I mean, they're huge.
I can imagine, you know. I have two aunts that did yarn, my grandmother, you know, my mom, knitting, I should say, excuse me, and crocheting and things like that. So, no, it's got to be hugely popular. How fun. What a fun small business to have. And this is the kind of thing, really, you could keep doing forever.
Oh, yeah.
There's
for sure.
no age limit. You know, there's no prime time like you were saying with modeling. I mean, it's like you can just keep doing it and enjoying it. And you're doing it at your house, and it depends upon if you can keep your employees together with you or not, because that's going to help or hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, modeling is my plan A, speech pathology is my plan B, and if those fail, then I'll be a yarn dyer for the rest of my life.
I love it. Okay, you just brought up the next thing I wanted to talk to you about. You are studying speech pathology at school. Yes.
So right now I'm doing online college. It's my first year, and my program is through ASU,
okay.
Arizona State University. And I'm studying, I think it's technically called speech and hearing science.
Okay.
But my end goal is to become a speech pathologist.
Okay. What does a speech pathologist do?
Yeah, so it's what my mom does. That's what initially sparked me.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a very, there's not a lot of speech pathologists out there.
Okay.
But you can either work in the hospitals or in the schools. So in the hospitals, you work with primarily older patients on their swallowing, their articulation. Usually they've suffered from strokes.
Okay.
More neurological things, that stuff. And then in schools, you work with, obviously, kids. And then younger kids, it's usually articulation and speech impediments, simple things like a lisp or a bad R or something. Huh. And then older kids, like high school, it's usually social skills and communication. And they have autism or Down syndrome. And it's less articulation. As far as stuttering or a lisp and stuff, because usually kids fix that earlier on, in elementary and middle school. Huh. So my mom, she works at a high school, actually the high school that I went to. Okay. And so I've gotten to see her work with her kids and everything, and I love it. I love getting to know them. They're so funny and sweet. That is nice. I'm assuming that kind of inspired you, seeing what your mom was doing and how she's able to help people, kind of that aha experience. I'm just sitting here letting the wheels turn because I'm going back to when I was first year of college, and I had to take a speech class. And, we're halfway through the semester, whatever, and the professor says, "Hey, Mr. Russo, can you stay after?" "Sure." What? She goes, "Look, I don't know how to tell you this, but there's one thing I want to encourage you. Don't ever, ever, ever become a public speaker, do broadcasting, anything like that," because she goes, "You stutter, you mumble, and do yourself and the world a favor, and don't do that." Oh, no. Yeah. And it's like, man, talk about cut me and make me bleed. It's like, whoa, lady, you could have been a little softer there. That was pretty brutal. But I would like to find her. I can't remember her name, so I can't find her. But I thought it'd be interesting to find her and say, "Hey, remember me? The stuttering, stammering guy that you said don't ever." Guess what I do now? I know. I'll get you. Yeah, but I never had somebody like you or your mom to help me. And I don't know that I noticed it all that much because, frankly, I was hiding behind a set of drums. And, that was my thing from 7th grade on. And that was my identity, and that was my security. And that's, I really wasn't worried about it that much. But that's awesome what you want to do. Now, how is this a 4-year program that you're taking? Yeah, so my undergrad is 4 years. And then I have to go and get my master's. Okay. So yeah, a lot of schooling, but I get to do everything online, and it's so crazy. I don't have to step foot on ASU's campus once.
You know, that's totally crazy that you can do an entire program that way. You know, I mean, because we hear, obviously there's classes you can take and all that kind of stuff, but to be able to do it, now will you be able to do your master's in the same way?
Yeah, I think so. Just all online. I will have to go in person for clinicals and stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't worked out all the details, but yeah, mostly everything's online, and I don't even have to log into like a Zoom or anything. It's all
really?
Yeah.
All individually based then?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Because I can kind of like create my own schedule and work at my own pace. And yeah, you definitely have to stay motivated and on it.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. You got to be disciplined and you got to be motivated, because otherwise that could be a nightmare.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I know it's very easy to procrastinate or just say, I'll do it later.
No, but you know what's so cool is it works perfect for what you're doing with the modeling, you know, and sprinkled fibers and, you know, all that. I mean, it's what a great place to be. So you've got to finish your bachelor's, then you got to do a master's. Master's 1 or 2 years?
I think 2.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully, I'm hoping I graduate early. I'm on track to graduate early because college is very expensive.
Yes.
And even though I'm online and I don't have to go in person, I still have to pay out of state, which is crazy.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because that jacks up the rate.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I would have gone, I wish I could go to a school in California, which is where I live, but no school in California had my program 100% online. So I had to go to Arizona.
Where do you see yourself going then? You graduate, you get, you know, with your bachelor's, you get your master's. Where is it you want to end up?
Oh, gosh. I mean, it kind of depends on how busy my modeling gets. I want to pursue that for as long as I can.
Yeah.
And eventually when I settle down in many, many years and I like get married and have kids, hopefully, I'll just become like a full-time speech pathologist and just settle down somewhere and like work in whatever setting, hospital or school, and then maybe model like here and there.
Yeah. By the way, do you have to do an internship with this program?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the logistics, but I think internships, especially when you're applying for the master's program, internships are like highly recommended because it's a very competitive program to get into. Okay. And so like you have to have all straight A's. You want to have experience to get into the master's. Now,
will you be able to, is it possible that you could do your internship in California, like locally then?
Yeah, I hope so. I really would love to do it with my mom, but I don't know if that's allowed.
I was thinking that, but I thought that may not be allowed. Oh, man. Well, I'm excited for what you're hoping to do, and it seems like it all meshes together, and it fits well. And, you know, you just seem to know what you're all about and who you are and, you know, where you're headed, which is unusual. It's a great example, I think, to others, both young adults and adults. Some don't have a clue what they want to do, who they are, where they're headed, that kind of a thing. We're running out of time, unfortunately. We're going to have you back on again because there's a lot of things we could be talking about. But when you look into our world and you see how chaotic things are, and we put a quote of yours up on our Twitter feed, you know, about be a light in the dark world. If you had the power, the ability to delete something from the world today, what would it be?
Oh, gosh. There's a lot of answers for that, but I would say anything. Like I've said, I'm a Christian, and I really feel like my faith has really guided me. And so I think I would just delete anything that blatantly like disrespects or goes against what God has to say or wants for us. It's so like important, and I've really seen it guide me in my choices and everything that's led me this far, like to live just a godly life and live in God's image and to just really seek Him and His word. And when God's working inside of you, I think if you really have God's love in your heart, it'll show on the outside in how you speak and how you carry yourself and how you treat others. And it's so important to be, like I said in my quote, a light in a world of darkness. Like God literally says, like, you are the light of the world. I think it's like Matthew 5:14. And it's so important to be the light for others, whether they're Christian or not. And so, I don't know, a world with God is just much better. And unfortunately, our world, I feel like, is moving further and further away from, you know, God's will for us, but
his values. Yeah. So let's bring it all the way down to, is there one thing that everybody could do? I know there's multiple ones, and it's not a simplistic, I'm oversimplifying here, but bear with me. Is there one thing that we could all do that could make the world a little bit better place?
I think just really trying to be positive and happy and I always say there's something to be jazzed about every day. And it's true. Like, there's always something to be, you know, happy about. Everyone is so blessed. And I think just having that attitude and that outlook on the world can really, like, speak volumes and really, like, allow for the other people around you to see, you know. There's always something, you know, appreciate the common graces in life. Yes.
I mean, there's so many simple things, you know. For me, sometimes I jump in the shower and it's like, you know what, I am so thankful I have a shower, number one, because having traveled many places in the world, people don't have showers. And number two, I get to have a hot shower. So, you know, or just having food to eat, or, I mean, it's that whole thing of just being grateful for what's there and thankful and appreciate it. So thank you, speaking of that, for taking time. I just really appreciate it. I enjoyed the conversation with you. Now, if people want to follow you on social media, what's the best way to do that?
So my personal Instagram is Lindsay Rienstra, and my tag is in my business account. So if you don't know how to spell that, it's in there. Lindsay Rienstra.
Well, and we will put it in the notes for the show too. Lindsay, I just appreciate what you're doing, and keep in touch with us. Let us know new things, you know, that we could talk about, and how we might help you or encourage you. You've been an encouragement on the show, and I hope a lot of people will take what you've said and consider it and apply it. And I want to remind people, this will be available in a few minutes, our conversation on Instagram TV. There it's available as viewing on demand. So you can tell your friends about it, and they can get to know who Lindsay is, and they can go to her Instagram with sprinkled fibers and place an order or two. And I mean, it's very cool. So thank you. And like I said, keep in touch with us and let us know what's going on.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me. I really, really enjoyed being on the show.
This is Utalk Radio.